Ooh, you scared, Bounty? That looks terrifying, actually. What is up, guys? So as you can tell from my spooky voice and our new friend in the back here, say hi. It is October 2nd.
It is October.
And it is officially spooky season.
Woo.
Which means the horror stuff can begin. And you know what? Do we still have our sign? It's been a while since we've done KJ's Spooky Cinema. Might have to bring that back.
It's somewhere.
That was a series we did, maybe back in 2017?
Oh yeah, when we first started the channel?
Something like that. Basically, we just watch horror movies and then review them. We only did 2 episodes of it. We did The Ring.
Yep.
And we did Ernest Scared Stupid. 2 classic horror movies. But anyways, we're here to talk about a new horror movie that just came out. Saw X.
Yep.
Is this really the 10th Saw?
I know.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Me personally, I love all the Saw movies. I know.
Did they count Jigsaw as like one of them?
I have no idea.
But yeah. Anyways.
But yeah, I personally love all the Saw movies. I know some people are, they kind of went downhill for some people.
Or the people just realize they know what happens each time.
Well, and then. And some people also criticize the traps.
Yeah,
were you the one that said you thought they kind of got stupid, or
like over time, maybe? Like
fair enough.
Some of them weren't as creative. Like could have been a little bit more creative.
For me, it's like I go into this movie just to see some cool deaths and get a decent story. And this one exceeded all expectations, I'd say. But this one is kind of back to basics, and I think something smart they did here is like they gave you the one character that people actually care about, Jigsaw.
Yeah,
they brought him back, centered the entire movie around him,
which I like because
did they do that before?
No, not really.
Yeah,
because he was always like the antagonist, right?
Yeah,
and so I guess he is still the antagonist, but he's like the main character.
That was smart, I think. It's just like, because that's the character people care about the most for this franchise. It's like having a Chucky movie that's not centered around Chucky, right?
Yeah.
Or Jason movie not centered around Jason.
Mm-hmm.
Just give people what they want. They care about him, and then he's doing horrible things, but he's doing it to kind of horrible people. So you're kind of rooting for him. But anyway, so the movie is about Jigsaw. It's a prequel. Obviously, because Jigsaw is dead, right?
He crashing out, and then, but he didn't really. That was all fake.
I should mention we're streaming actually.
Oh, what the fuck? Bye. We're supposed to be recording right now, so whoever's chatting or saying hi.
Shoot. So where were we? So like I said,
Jigsaw.
It's a prequel.
John Kramer.
So the idea is this takes place when Jigsaw is dying from the cancer. He's about a few months away from death, and then he finds out about this clinic that is using experimental drugs and surgery to cure cancer.
And they're under the radar right now.
Yeah. So the idea is that it's like drugs and stuff that's banned in so many countries. So he has to go.
It's a miracle.
So basically, he has to go to Mexico to get this done. And then when he gets there, everything seems well. He's getting his surgery done, and then he wakes up the next day, and they tell him, "Oh, it was a success. Look at your blood count and all that. Yep. You're cancer free. Have a good life."
Yep.
And he's happy. He's so thankful, and that he ends up going to a liquor store, buying them some fancy champagne or wine or whatever as a thank you.
Yep.
He goes back to where he had the surgery done. Place is cleared out. They're gone.
Destroyed everything. That's super sketch.
And
super
now
suspicious.
You've just pissed off one of the most dangerous men.
Yeah, it's you don't know who you effed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so thus begins, because this guy he's about to go ham.
Yep.
And he calls up his best friend, who I'm not going to say who, and they get to work. So that's the premise of the movie. Now let's get into the traps and the death and the gore and the torture, all that fun stuff that we love from Saw.
Yep.
it's all 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
The movie was good because it's like, damn, it's like all these people who were involved, they didn't know who they effed. And then basically he's getting his revenge, like just taking, like, I can't believe people are so vulnerable, you know, and they really they relied on this type of surgery. Any sort of like cancer surgery.
They're not just taking advantage of him, they've been taking advantage of people for over 8 years.
Yeah.
Apparently. So
like any sort of cancer that's not curable, like some doctors say they can't cure it or anything, and then they're the last option, and they're like, oh yeah, we could definitely do something for you.
Yeah. So something I'll say about this one that kind of, maybe you can confirm this, it felt different that everything takes place in just one room.
Yeah.
Like all of the traps, all of the death, it all happens in just one room. And that's different, right? From the other movies where it took place in a much bigger, like,
Yeah, sometimes, well, it's kind of like, remember in the second movie where everyone kind of started off in the same room?
Yeah, but then they overall explained to explored.
Then they eventually have to, like,
but I guess
everyone gets spread apart in different rooms.
Yeah, maybe they were trying to take it back to the first one, which also just took place in just one room,
In a way, they kind of did remind me of that because that one guy, he kind of like said something that I think he said a similar quote to the doctor from the first movie. When he was shaking the chains and stuff when he wakes up.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact quote.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
But like when I saw that, I'm like, this reminds me of the first one.
I wouldn't be surprised if there were some callbacks to the first one, because obviously that's like the most memorable one, so they want to kind of recapture that.
And do you know, like, I thought it was really cool too, how observant John is, because like when like you see throughout the movie he starts to create all these drawings of his traps and stuff, and like as he's like walking into like the surgery, he's looking at all the machinery, and he kind of like based some of the traps from like of the machinery and stuff, which is so cool. I thought it was cool.
So yeah, like I said, all the traps I think were very cool, very creative, very gruesome.
Yeah,
I was watching your face during some of them.
Oh, and I was just like, I just hear the and then I'm like, ooh, and I can't stop.
There's
stop looking at
definitely some really gross ones.
Yeah,
and it's not even like it's anything like, I wouldn't say like the traps are like super crazy or anything like that. But some of them are just really, really gross.
Yeah, it's like you could tell whoever's suffering is like
in pain.
It's like
you can feel it.
Yeah.
But you know, one thing I realized with this movie that I feel like every Saw movie I go like this. I'm watching this. I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense. And then I continue. I'm like, why would they do that? And then at the end of the movie, as he's explaining, I'm like, that's why they did everything.
Yeah, there were some parts it's like, like he was kind of saying things like, you know, this might happen to you, or she might do this or might do that. And then I'm thinking in my head, okay.
Yeah, but then like, okay, so there's this one point where, I can't even say that.
You'd say it like a summary of what, or...
So they leave something in the middle of the room. And I'm like, why would you do that?
Yeah, no, at first I thought it was a little bit weird.
And then with the final trap too, I'm like... For the final trap, I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense either. Why would the trap be like that? Right?
Yeah.
I'm like, but then to myself, I'm like, you know, it's a horror movie. Not everything has to make sense, right? And then they're like, no, Kadeem, watch. Just wait 5 minutes, then you'll understand.
Yep.
So I think that's always really cool. Every Saw movie, I'm like that. I'm like, that's a plot hole. And they're like, no, it's not. So it's cool. I really enjoy the Saw movies.
And I don't know, like, there's like certain situations where, like, I don't know if it would be considered a spoiler. I don't know if I should bring it up.
What?
Well,
if it's a spoiler, I'll cut it out. Like I said, I think this movie was 10 out of 10. I think it was a great idea to center it around Jigsaw.
Yep.
And make him like the hero basically, because we're all rooting for him this time.
Yep.
Whereas in some past movies, you know, you kind of, even though some of the people were in that position because they deserved it, you still kind of root for them a little bit because, you know, they're not 100% bad.
Yeah, there is like certain situations where I forgot which of the Saw movies had it, but like I think this one person just made an actual like accidental mistake. Like it wasn't like intentional, and they end up still being in the traps in the first place.
And same with this one. There's even some of the people in the traps that are like you are meant to sympathize with them a little bit, right?
Yeah.
There's basically just one of them that you're meant to sympathize with, but then the others are like they're kind of trash people who kind of just deserve it. So anyways, like I said, it was great. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
I would 100% recommend it.
I wouldn't mind watching it again too. It was good.
I'm about to binge all the Saw movies again because I need to get the lore back. It's been too long.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Yeah. We're probably mixing a lot of info up at the beginning, but
that's okay. But yes, Saw X playing now. Go watch it. What else do we have for horror movies? Oh, one of the biggest, one that I'm looking forward to, Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh, I can't wait for that. Oh, yes.
At the end of the month. I'm super excited for that. I think that's going to be good.
Then the Chucky series is going to come back on.
Chucky's back next. I think it's this week. Chucky's back. But we won't get to watch it. We're in Canada. So we're usually like a week behind.
Yeah.
Unless we want to watch it in other ways.
Yes.
But yes, that's about it. Anything else you want to say?
No, that's about it.
Okay.
Go watch the movie. And until next time, I guess.
Saw X, 10 out of 10. Like Janelle said, go check it out. We'll see you guys soon.